You are about to step into a space so expansive, so surreal. It might just melt the edges of what you think is you. This isn't the kind of meditation where you neatly fold yourself into perfect lotus and try to empty your mind. No, this is different, messier, wiser, and freer. This is the meditation that whispers to the deepest parts of you, the parts you try to ignore, the parts you don't even know are there, and says, it's okay, you can take a break now. You're about to experience something that will stretch your mind in ways you didn't think possible, not like a rubber band, but like an entire galaxy unfolding in your chest. And you may not come out of this the same as you went in. My name is Olivia Kissper, and I am a certified mindfulness instructor and transpersonal coach, and I am going to guide you. Just listen to my voice, and I'll take you to a place where peace and new perspectives are hanging out, waiting for you to show up. So, go ahead, get comfortable, sink into the surface beneath you, and feel how it holds you up, like the world's most unbothered friend. There is no need to sit just right or lie down correctly. There is no scorecard, just you, here, now, in this strange and miraculous moment that doesn't need to make any sense. Feel your body starting to melt. Notice how the edges of your body start to blur like watercolor seeping into paper. The boundary between you and not you begins to fade just a little, and your shoulders, they are not really yours anymore. Your breath, it's been happening without your permission all along. And your thoughts, let them be and let them pass. What do you have to do with them? Arrive to being here, relaxed, soft, and with permission to just be. And now, imagine this. You are walking on a floor made of glass. Beneath you, the universe unfolds, not as stars and planets, but as a library of every moment you've ever lived. Each step you take sends ripples through this infinite archive. Pages flipping open, some blank, some crammed with words, some written in languages you don't even recognize. And you look down and see one particular book glowing faintly. You lean closer and it flips open to reveal nothing, just a blank page. You stare at it for a moment and then you realize it's not blank, it's a mirror. And the reflection staring back at you, it doesn't quite look like you. Not the you thought you were. This version is softer, looser, freer, like it's been holding a secret and it's finally ready to share. As you keep walking, the glass beneath your feet starts to crack. Not in a dangerous way, but in a way that feels inevitable. The pieces fall away and you find yourself floating. Or are you falling? Either way, you are not afraid. The air feels thick like honey, holding you up. And you realize you're not falling or floating. You're just there, suspended, effortless. And you reach into your pocket. You don't remember having one, but there it is. And pull out a magnifying glass. You point it toward the space around you, and suddenly, there you are, a tiny version of yourself pacing in circles on a map. The map is labeled the perfect life. But tiny you keeps tripping over a corner marked right now. And you watch as tiny you gets frustrated, sits down and starts scrolling through a tiny phone. And as you lean closer, you see that the phone screen says, "You're missing something." Well, the main message behind the phone screen. You zoom out and notice another tiny version of yourself nearby. This one is trying to climb a staircase made of melting clock faces. Every time they reach for the next step, it bends, stretching time forward and backward. They are exhausted but determined, whispering, I will get there. I just need more time. And you want to tell them, there is no there, my friend. The staircase is an art installation. You can stop climbing anytime. Now you see a whole town ahead of you. Every building a mirror. Each one reflects a different version of you. There is the achiever, furiously writing to-do lists on the walls. There is the avoider, hiding under a table covered in blankets. And there is even the guru, sitting cross-legged in the middle of the street, chanting, "I have figured it out," while sneaking glances at everyone else to see if they are impressed. And then there is just you, standing there, watching it all, feeling something shift. What if none of them were you? What if they were just costumes, like paper dolls trying to act out a story? What if you could let them all go? As you consider this, the scene starts to dissolve. The mirrors fade. The map crumples. The tiny versions of you evaporate like mist in the morning sun. And what's left is just this strange, boundless, shimmering space. It feels like nothing, and yet it feels like everything. It's quiet, but not empty. It's soft, but not fragile. It's you. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else entirely. And as you rest here, in this infinite, unnameable space, a question floats up, unbidden. What if you didn't need to let go? What if everything just let go of you? And with that, you notice your breath again, the rise and fall, steady and calm, like waves lapping at the shore. Your body feels heavier now, more solid, but also lighter somehow, as if it's been unburdened of something it didn't need. And as you start to come back, there is no rush. take your time, or don't. Time, after all, has never really been the point. As you rest here, suspended in this vast, formless space, something peculiar happens. A small, crackling sound in the distance, faint but growing louder. You turn toward it, or at least it feels like you turn, though you have no sense of direction here. And you see a tiny figure. At first, you think it's another version of you, but as it comes closer, you realize it's something else entirely. And it's carrying something. A large box, teetering in its arms. It drops the box with a heavy thud, and the lid flies open, revealing everything. Every thought, every fear, every hope you've ever carried. And then it speaks. Its voice is deep and absurdly calm, as if it has all the time in the universe to say just one thing. Why do you carry these around? It asks, tilting its head in genuine curiosity. You start to respond, but nothing comes out. And that's when it hits you. You don't know. You've never known. And the figure sits cross-legged and starts pulling things out of the box. One by one, it holds them up for you to see. There is a fear you used to have about being left behind. An old, wrinkled thought, barely recognizable now. This one's expired, the figure says, tossing it over its shoulder. Then it pulls out a shiny, polished belief about success, holding it up to the light like a jewel. Pretty but empty, it says, and the belief shatters in its hands, dissolving into dust. Item after item, the figure goes through the box, discarding things you didn't even realize you were still holding on to. And then it reaches the bottom, where one final object rests. A mirror. It lifts the mirror slowly, turning it towards you. And there you are again. Only this time, the reflection doesn't look like any version of you you've ever known. It's formless, shifting like smoke caught in sunlight. The figure smiles as if to say, "This is you, and it's not you. It's everything and nothing." You blink, or maybe you don't, and the box, the figure, the mirror, they are gone. And all that's left is you, alone in the vastness, yet somehow not alone at all. You notice a hum, faint at first, but growing louder, surrounding you, filling you. It's the sound of everything and the sound of nothing, the sound of a universe laughing at itself. And that's when you see it. A magnifying glass floating in the space before you. You reach for it, curious, and you lift it to your eye, and the scene around you changes. You are no longer floating in nothingness. Instead, you are in a field, surrounded by an infinite number of tiny people, and each one looks like you, but they are all doing something different. One is running in circles, holding a clipboard and yelling, "I just need one more thing." Another is trying to climb a ladder that's not leaning against anything. One is sitting in a chair waiting for something, but they don't seem to know what. You watch them all for a while, fascinated, and then something inside of you shifts. The absurdity of it all. The running, the climbing, the waiting starts to sink in. You smile, then laugh softly at first, then harder, until the laughter bubbles up and out, filling the entire field. And the tiny people stop what they are doing and look up at you, confused. And then, one by one, they start laughing too. And as the laughter dies down, you notice something strange. The tiny people are fading, dissolving like mist in the morning sun. One by one, they disappear until the field is empty. You are alone again, but it doesn't feel lonely. It just feels peaceful. And then a voice, your own voice, whispers, "What if none of that was ever you? What if it was all just a story you told yourself, and then you forgot you made it up?" The question lingers in the air, echoing softly until it fades. And in its place, another voice, calmer and quieter, asks, "What if you stopped looking for answers? What would you notice then?" And you sit with the question for a moment, or maybe forever. Time doesn't seem to matter here. Nothing seems to matter. And yet, everything feels so full, so alive, so enough. And when you are ready, if you are ready, you begin to feel your body again, the weight of it, the warmth, the gentle rise and fall of your breath. It feels familiar, but different, like coming back to a home you didn't realize you'd left. The space around you starts to solidify. The vastness narrows, folding back into the room you're in. You can feel the floor beneath you, the air on your skin. You are here, or maybe you're not. Does it even matter? Take your time. There is no rush. Open your eyes if you want to, or keep them closed a little longer. Either way, the world is still here, waiting for you. But you'll see it differently now. You'll see the absurdity, the beauty, and strangeness of it all. You've tried therapy, meditation, self-help, ready for something that actually ends the search?